Hi everyone, it's the Comic Fan Man here coming at you with another video. And today we have a very special video because we're going to have a look here at the Medieval Spawn 3. And this is a figure I actually had no idea even existed. One of the viewers from my last video, who goes by the name of Zach Hammer 3567, actually put me on to this figure. He dropped a comment, asking me if he was surprised that I didn't own this figure, and I, in all honesty, did not even know this figure even existed. Right after he dropped that comment, I looked it up on YouTube and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I need to have this figure. And I looked him up on eBay and a lot of the prices were pretty crazy, but I did find this on eBay at a really awesome price. I mean, the guy really hooked me up. So I'm super duper happy. And yeah, I can't wait to open this up and have a look. All right, so this Medieval Spawn, he comes from series 20, I guess, the classic series 20. And this series had 6 popular characters from the Spawn comics with art from Greg Capullo. And apparently this was the way Greg Capullo drew him in a comic, and I gotta say, I am loving it. Greg Capullo is absolutely one of my favorite comic artists. I have been following him, I guess, since the late 90s, when he was on Quasar, and just watching his artwork like mature through his run through Spawn and Batman and so on and so forth has been nothing but amazing. And these are the other figures from that line and some other stuff that they have there. And I really appreciated that this was still on the box, just so that you see. KB Toy Stores, $10 at that time, and apparently this was marked down to $5. So this is awesome. What a time, 2001. So let's open him up and take out his stuff. All right, so here he is, Medieval Spawn 3 from McFarlane Toys, 2001. And these are his accessories. He comes with the shield and the axe. First, let's take a look at the shield real quick. This is the part that I was warned about, that these arrows will break off very easily. So doing what I can to make sure, like, I'm gonna see what I can do to make sure he doesn't fall over and slam on these, because these are gonna pop off real easy. But look at all that wash that's on this. This is amazing. That green for the eyes, all of this wood grain that's going on in there. And I'm pretty sure this is the same shield from the Medieval Spawn Kickstarter, because it looks like it's exactly the same shield, just without the arrows. But you know, once I get it in hand, I'll know for sure. But yeah, this is amazing. Look, even on the little brackets that holds the shield, the McFarlane Toys did all this intricate paint on the little studs in there. That's fantastic. This is really amazing amount of detail just on the shield. And now let's take a look at his axe. His axe is also amazing. This is really large. And take a look, he's got a dragon sculpting on the blade itself. Dragon's head right there with all the blood and stuff. Obviously this is the swinging edge because the blood is here splattering that way. But again, look at that. All of that sculpt and detail that's in there is really, really astounding. Even the wrapping here is finished in a nice wash. And he's got a little mace at the end of this thing. Like, this is a weapon that's gonna kill people. He's not looking to knock anybody out. He's looking just to straight up finish them. And it comes with this little twine on there, which is really cool. When I took it out, I saw that it was a twine that tied to the end of it. Really nice. Nice little detail at the end of it. Wasn't expecting that, but really, really cool. So that's his shield and his axe. Now let's take a look at the figure himself. Medieval Spawn 3, art designed by Greg Capullo. Again, one of my favorite comic artists in comic books. This is amazing. The sculpt on this is really nice. Look at the face. Done really well. Let's turn him around real quick. Let's take a look at this cape. Holy cow, this cape sculpting is crazy. Again, I had never seen this figure. Look at this, he's got a little collar with studs on there. You know, I'm really thankful that Zach put me onto this. This is crazy. Look at all the paint work and the wash and the stud work done on here. And all of these toothy spikes from some kind of monster. He's got these skulls hanging off his belt. He's got the spawn skulls there. The chains are plastic and hanging off. Really nice. Little 1990s pouches coming off there, and all of this. And then this is also kind of funny here. All of this 1990s bulging muscles sticking through his armor plating. That was such a funny thing from the 1990s, that even if the character was fully armored, they didn't draw armor. They just drew the muscles and put armor lines around it. Really cool. He does have bend in the knees. His articulation is very limited. He's definitely meant to be more like in a single pose. But the detail work here is crazy and amazing. This is his small boot. Here's the Spawn big boot. Look at all of this detail. Paint, wash, sculpt. Astounding work. Pick up the cape, you can see the back. Again, really amazing work with all the paint. And his armor is steel plating in the front, leather straps in the back. Really crazy. Very nice. And this is the arm that holds the shield. It's got a little spike there. Oh, and under the cape, he's got more toothy spikes. He does have a little ball joint system in the shoulder, but it doesn't do anything but go back and forth. Again, look at the detail on the arm. This is a callback to the Medieval 1 Spawn, because that's the way his arms glove looked on that figure. And then this is a callback to the Medieval 2 figure, because this is a smaller version of the arm guard that he has on that figure. Wow, I like this little gargoyle that he has as a knee pad over here. He didn't have that in any of the other ones. Look at this. And this one does have a swivel from side to side, so I guess, you know, to make sure he doesn't fall over, you'll be able to twist it to where he'll be able to stand on his own, because that's the whole purpose of the big boot on the figures, was to make sure that they didn't fall over. Look at that. Oh man, I really miss these days from McFarlane Toys. My goodness. All the paint wash. Like, McFarlane Toys still has all the details, but what they're missing is the paint washes. Look at this. Even on the inside of the cape, it has paint washes. My goodness. I am so glad to have him. I'm glad that he was a good boy and finally got out of his plastic prison after 23 years, you know, doing his 23-year sentence. But he is now out of the package. All right, so I'm gonna try to put on his weapons, again, without breaking the arrows or anything else on this figure, and we'll see what he looks like. All right, so here he is with all of his accessories on, his weapons. And as you can see, he looks amazing. The shield here, in order to get it on, you don't just force it into this way. You actually have to turn it this way, and then you clip it on and off through this direction here. If you try to do it this way, it doesn't go in, but if you put it here, you see it goes in, and then you just twist his arm to put it into position. And that looks fantastic. I love the way he looks. This axe here is pretty gnarly. Look at all the blood and gore on there. Really such a beautiful, beautiful figure. I love it. I can't get enough of staring at this bad boy. And again, you know, this was the golden age of McFarlane Toys as far as I'm concerned, and I'm pretty sure he had the McFarlane Toys had the Four Horsemen as figure designers at that time. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this was one of the figures they designed, but I wouldn't be surprised, because the Four Horsemen are an amazing group of artisans. And after their time with McFarlane Toys, their next project was the Masters of the Universe 2000X, and you know, they did an amazing job, especially with the villains, sculpting them. And you know, the art style that they used was really flashy, and as you can see, look, it does kind of go with this. And now they do their own thing because they are the designers of the Mythic Legions figures. And as you can see, you know, very similar armor type detail that they did here. I mean, it's fantastic. Their work is great. And you know, their work when they were with McFarlane Toys to this day cannot be touched. It cannot be topped. I think this age of toys, which was from like 97 to like 2003 or 4, was amazing. And they really knocked it out of the box. And you know, I'm glad you got to see from the box, like, you know, at the time these figures were, you know, in full retail for like $10. And if you found them on discount, they were $5 at that time. And I really wish I could go back in time, because I would have bought up everyone I would have saw. And yeah, because yeah, they went up in value so much simply because of their art aesthetic. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, it's almost tempting to keep these kind of figures in box, but I'm not an in-box collector. I really, like, I need to like touch the figure. I need to feel the figure. I need to see how it was designed, how, like, you know, how the aesthetics work. And you know, as much as I really, like, I thought about maybe just leaving it in box, nah, I couldn't do it. Like, I needed to put him on my shelf next to my other sword and sorcery figures. This is amazing. Here he is alongside version 1 medieval spawn, and yeah, you can tell it was a tremendous upgrade from his initial design to this one. Although he does have all the same kind of things, just a little bit more exaggerated and flared up. As you can see, this is his, he has that same kind of glove on this one, which is really kind of cool. It's just painted, obviously different, a little more realistic, but that's really, really cool. But yeah, and oh yes, I did change out his cape. This is another Masterverse fabric from one of the figures, and I just cut it up to make it his cape. And yeah, I think this is a really nice upgrade from here to here. I think they did you know, a tremendous job. All right, here he is with Medieval Spawn 2, the golden version, the gold variant. And as you can see, this is the same arm guard that he had on here, and it definitely looks like it was based on the gold variant, because it's got that same color scheme. It doesn't have the blue steel, he has the golden color steel. And you know, I said during my video of the Medieval Spawn 2 that this was definitely my favorite figure from McFarlane Toys to ever be made. And I gotta say, I never knew this existed. So this is really hard for me, because this I still feel like a real connection to. And this is just something brand new that I just, you know, found out about 23 years later. And I love this. This is amazing. I don't know if I love it as much as this one, but it's still like, it's still fantastic. And yeah, I think they look great together. Here he is alongside McFarlane Toys metal Batman. And yeah, as you can see, this the sculpting on McFarlane Toys is definitely still there, and now they have all this updated articulation. It looks fantastic, but you know, he doesn't do any finishes, he doesn't do any like real paint apps, so it doesn't really come even close to the finish of what they used to do 23 years ago. This is a great looking Batman. I do like it, but yeah, you can see he's very plain Jane compared to what they used to do 23 years ago. All right, here's Medieval Spawn with Witchblade. Witchblade from back then was also a really great figure, done by Top Cow Productions. And you know, Witchblade and Medieval Spawn had a crossover, and apparently they had a slight relationship before he became Medieval Spawn while he was still human. And yeah, I think it's great. I can put them both together, and he's much bigger than she is, but this still works. The proportion still works as far as I'm concerned. I think this looks great. And here he is alongside NECA's Last Ronin. And as you can see, this is where the paint job is comparable. Like, this is a company, NECA is a company that does try to come close to what McFarlane Toys used to do, and it stays at an affordable price. They're not charging $50, $60 for these. These are in the 30s, and sometimes you can get a deal where they're a little less. Like, this to me is worth the price of the $30 figures these days. Like, you know, none of the toy companies outside of NECA really come close to doing what McFarlane Toys used to do as far as sculpting and paint. McFarlane Toys now just strictly focuses on sculpting, but there was a time where, as you can obviously see, they focused on sculpting and paint. And today, NECA is really the company that kind of sticks to that at an affordable retail price. All right, and here we have Medieval Spawn lined up next to the NECA Dungeons and Dragons Strongheart. And again, this is another example of how NECA's work is really the only figures from today that kind of line up with what McFarlane Toys used to do 23 years ago. And yeah, as you can see, they line up really well together. They look really good. Their finishes are very similar. All the detailed work in his chainmail and all the detail work in his armor. Yeah, he's got chainmail too. And they used to do a nice wash to kind of bring up the details. Tremendous, tremendous work. It's really sad to see how far away from this McFarlane Toys went. Like the modern day Medieval Spawn that they released last year, I thought, like, you know, the figure looked, as far as the sculpting and the detail, looked fantastic, but they released him without a wash. He doesn't have the red in his boots or his gauntlets. Like, it's such a wasted figure. I was really like, how could they do that to my boy? Like, this one and the version 2 one is just like the pinnacle for me. Oh, and also on a side note here, obviously I showed you that this one has blood on his axe. I didn't realize that they had a bloody and a censored version. I just saw a video where they had he showed off the axe, and his axe didn't have any blood. So yeah, so apparently I have the bloody version. Pretty cool. So something similar that they did with version 2. They did a censored and a bloody version of the figure. And here he is alongside Super 7 Lionel. Well, this is the mirror Lionel. But yeah, you could see this is what I'm talking about. Although, you know, it's a great looking figure. I love this figure. And I do love the work that Super 7 does. But, you know, you're not going to tell me that this is like a $50, $60 figure. And this was, you know, 10 back in 2001, which today would be about like $20. Like, it doesn't even compare. Again, I love, you know, what Super 7 is doing here, but yeah, that $50, $60 price range, for sure, it's definitely not the same workmanship as this. And I don't really, like, you know, I got this Lionel super cheap because he was on sale. I guess they had an overstock of him. And so I got him super cheap, but, you know, the regular Lionel was going for like $50, $60. And now I know they're doing like a $35 version of it. But, you know, this is, take a look. You're not going to tell me this is like a $60 figure, and, you know, this would be like a $20 figure in today's prices. Come on. Cut it out, guys. All right, so I wanted to do a weapon switch. So I took his axe off and I put on the sword from the Medieval Spawn 2. Take a look. It fits perfectly in his hand. All that blood and gore. Crazy. He obviously did a lot of damage to whoever he was swinging his sword at. But yeah, that looks amazing. I was going to use this sword as my Mondo version sword for the Medieval Kickstarter Spawn. Because I don't get that sword because I didn't order the 3-pack. So I was actually going to just use this as his giant sword. But look at that. It looks perfect on this Spawn. I think I'm going to leave it on him. This looks fantastic. All right, I thank you for joining me on this very exciting box opening of a figure that I had no idea existed, and he's been around for 23 years, and he just broke out of his plastic prison on my table. I'm so happy to have him, And yeah, Princess Tigra has her knight in black armor. Wow, this is crazy. I love the way he looks. He's gonna be amazing on my display, and really look forward to getting that Medieval Spawn Kickstarter just to see how all of these compare. You know, if McFarlane went up a grade, or if, you know, or if it went back. Well, for me, it definitely does look like it went up, because there's a lot of sculpting and detail on that. But again, this was the golden age of McFarlane Toys, so they got a lot of work to do to get back to this. So hopefully he did. And again, I'm really thankful to Zach Hammer for putting me onto this figure. And thank you all for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. And we'll see what it'll come up as. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye now.